This week's parasha is perhaps one of the most epic episodes in all of the Torah. We learn about the 10 plagues, the complete and utter annihilation of Egypt. They were brought to their feet. And this, of course, was all performed by Moshe and Aaron, by Moses and Aaron, the famous brothers. And the Torah introduces us to these brothers. It goes through their entire lineage, beginning with the tribe of Reuven, and then Shimon, and then Levi, telling us exactly who these people were that God selected to lead the Jewish people to freedom. And then the Torah adds the following note. And it tells us, Moshe ben Shmonim Shana, Moshe was 80 years old, Va'aron ben Shalosh u'Shmonim Shana, and Aaron was 83 years old, Bomdam lifnei Paro, when they came and they stood before Pharaoh. Why does the Torah have to tell us how old they are? What is the purpose of that? And there are some commentators, including Rashi, who explain that the Torah wants to tell us how long the Jewish people were in Egypt for, because there is some confusion on this point. It seems that later on in the book of Shemot, it tells us that the Jewish people were in Egypt for 400 years. And yet when we add up the years of the different lives of the characters, we see that it doesn't come up to 400 years, but it comes to 210 years. So this is part of resolving this conflict. But the Sforno, one of our great Italian commentators, tells us something else completely. Why does the Torah have to say that Moshe was 80 and Aaron was 83? And he explains as follows. This is to tell us that even though they were elderly people, nevertheless, they got up early in the morning and they conducted themselves with zrizut, with alacrity and with passion and with enthusiasm. Even in those days, 80 was old. Although today they say 80 is the new 70. But in those days, an 80-year-old was an elderly person. And here you had Moshe and his brother. They were two octogenarians. And yet, when it came to carrying out the command of Hashem, they did so with zrizut. They did so with alacrity. And if this is what two elderly people can do, then certainly this is what we can do. You know, we're always making excuses. Why we didn't come to shul on time. Why we didn't come to this shir. Why we didn't do this. Why we didn't do that. Oh, we felt tired. We felt that perhaps we had been doing too much the previous day. We just wanted to rest in. And yet we have these two elderly people who are able to get up and to go and to act with an alacrity. And in fact, this particular character trait of zrizut, alacrity, is absolutely basic for the service of Hashem. There is a famous work called the Tur, which is the forerunner to the Code of Jewish Law, written by Rabbeinu Yaakov ben Arosh. And this is a long, long work of Jewish law. It covers all aspects of Jewish law. And how did the author of the Tur decide to begin his great work? He quotes from Pirkei Avot, from the 5th chapter, where Yehuda ben Taimah says that a person should be as light as an eagle, as swift as a deer, as powerful as a lion to serve God. This is how he chooses to open his book, because he wants to make it clear right at the beginning that when it comes to serving Hashem, you can't do so with a lack of enthusiasm, with a laziness, with a slothfulness. You've got to go out there. You've got to be passionate. You've got to get up in the morning. You've got to jump out of bed and go to serve Hashem. Because alacrity breeds alacrity. Enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm. If you're enthusiastic about something, you make other people enthusiastic about things. But not only that, if you're passionate about how you do things, then those things become much more meaningful to you than if you did it with some type of a boring and uninterested attitude. And that's why the Torah has to tell us, Moshe ben Shmonim Shana. Moshe was 80, and even though he was 80, and even though he was elderly, he acted with incredible passion and enthusiasm to serve Hashem. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.